Today, we become legends.
Hey, my name's Inter, and welcome back to the channel for the Jormungandr reveal that is about to go down in about a minute 30 on the Titan Talk. I know a lot of people are excited for this character. Personally, I'll take him or leave him, but I know a lot of people are really excited for him. Maybe he'll have an aspect or something. They said something about giving him a support aspect to make him a little bit more support viable. Obviously, he kind of is support viable anyway, but an aspect could push him more in that direction of like a true support rather than like a frontliner support. But yeah, we'll get into it all with this reveal, of course. I'll have the rest of the OB17 changes in a future video that'll be coming out soon after this one as well, as always. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to catch that video as it goes out. There'll be some other cool stuff in the patch as well as Jorm, but I like to get these card reveals out first.
Isn't the handy dandy desktop?
Hey,
I said it. I got there. Oh, we're going to game, and I'm hoping.
Oh my lord, he's huge.
Will work.
He's always huge.
Make sure the audio.
Hey, Jesus.
Chat, let me know on the audio, please, because I have a feeling because it's my.
It looks
account,
good though.
Maybe too loud or too quiet.
I can't hear it at all.
We can't hear any. No.
No games.
We could hear this earlier. No. Try that.
Audio. Oh, Chess's audio is fine. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Audio's fine. Liars.
Yeah.
There was no audio.
Yeah, I hear it now.
Is that too loud or too quiet? I'll quickly find it.
Yeah, it's quick. Yeah, look at all the new effects coming in.
Yeah, these turned out, I think, really cool.
Yeah.
I think they look even more like toxic. Well, hey, come on. Sorry. Calm down here.
Have a look at this. It's a habit. My bad.
But no, I think they look even more like toxic venom pit than they did before.
Yes.
You know, and it's just like
double down on the goop.
Yeah, we went hard with the goop. Yeah,
that was something that it's like when we were having a look at Smite 1, we're like, okay, well, what are the important things to keep in with Jormungandr? What's kind of his themes, his FX themes going on? One of it was like kind of that toxic goop going on. Some of it was like the blue, purples, and pinks as well.
So where are we starting here?
Energy. Where are we starting? All right, I have a big list of notes. I said that not much has changed, but there's still a whole bunch.
Is
of
it just
stuff
me, or is he like taller but thinner?
So we'll start at the beginning.
I don't know.
Okay.
Which is his
Maybe I'm
basic
trolling.
attacks.
Could be the camera
one of the
angle.
things that was talking about, you went to the right spot because usually we don't have a lot of basic attack information, and if we do, it might be on the passive. And Jormungandr's basic attacks were kind of on his passive.
Okay.
Now we're just putting it here because well, you'll see. So. One of the things was that we soft reworked how the basic attack overheating and cooling worked on the back end for Jormungandr. For the players, it's not going to seem like there's too much change, but previously he was using this unyieldy algorithm that was doing a whole bunch of unnecessary complicated stuff. Now we can just straight up tell you, like, the base overheat rate is 1.5. The base cooling rate just is 2.5. Now those tick at a rate of 0.1 seconds, and he's got that passive meter, which is going to help. Like, this is just how the ability works, and we can even just reveal that to you. While in Smite 1, that just was not going to, like, we just have to give you a formula.
Look at that goop.
Look at that goop. So we soft reworked how that works. That also will functionally mean that the timing, there will be a tiny bit of difference. I think 1 second, actually more lenient towards the overheating and cooling for Jormungandr. That being said, or at least more for the overheating. But there's going to be some new gimmicks on there too. So something that
could
you
also
might
a
be able
little
to
bit
notice
more.
already if you're an astute Snake player, Snake enjoyer, is that the attack speed conversion has actually changed. So from Smite 1 to Smite 2. So now it's going to be affecting the overheat rate, not the cooling rate. Because I was kind of looking at that before, and some of the stuff we do in Smite 1 is almost just like legacy and what we were able to do technically at the time. But if you're going attack speed, you kind of want to be able to be at a faster rate more often, not the fact that you can regain your cooling faster. So now you're not attacking faster, but you're able to stay in the faster attack rate for longer.
Okay.
Okay, so just a little bit of a shift
so
there.
that's one thing. Other things that I'm sure people are going to want to know about is that your basic attacks will be able to proc item effects and will be able to crit. If you hover over that one more time, you can see that he does have the lower scaling. It's 40% strength instead of 100%. Obviously, that would be obscene. He does hit at 5 attacks per second, so he is still doing he is still over the 100% DPS per second. But then obviously he's going to be scaling that lower and lower and lower based on his kind of overheat mechanics. So he can do all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
It also does say there 20% healing because you can go things like Arrow's bow, which for the record, by the way, today was twice as strong. It was actually set to that 40%. So I literally just before coming here, me and Josh,
Josh has been spamming
Arrow's bow at
bow
40% would be
in
silly.
playtest. It actually just heals for a ton. So.
Super sustained.
Well, that's because it was twice as good as it should be.
Well,
now it'll be slightly less, but maybe it actually was fine, and 20% is too low.
We'll see. We'll see.
So
We'll see a flash test later today.
Okay. Now I noticed when I hit Ymir,
wait.
there's a
okay. So
before you even do that,
okay.
This is a good example of you can see.
Yes.
You can
great,
see.
Great
Yeah.
point. We added new.
So if you scooch closer to the god, you can see the outline of the god through Jorm.
This was new tech that was added by Tech Art.
Yes,
cool. To it is you can now see enemies that are inside your, so that Ymir's within
nice
your basic
QOL.
attack range, and it'll be It might only just be for enemies, but before you wouldn't be able to see anyone, and you're kind of just blinding yourself. Now you can actually kind of see a little bit more about what's going around you.
Yeah.
This was something that we actually thought
His
about
body
doing in
acts like a wall almost.
yeah, and
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that was kind of a vision blocker and it's frustrating. We actually thought about doing something like this in Smite 1, but there was a lot of discontent and just concern over that you just wouldn't be able to see yourself properly.
True.
Because like if you do that, you're just losing yourself
your
a little bit.
visual.
Now if there's 5 enemies or minions, whatever, it might be a bit. But we went back and revisited on Smite 2. We're like, no, this just looks better. It is better, and the quality of life and the clarity is way more important than the fact that sometimes you might be losing your own model.
Yeah, and I will say that, like, while you're playing it, it feels even more natural than like looking at it in video, because like the first time that this was turned on for a playtest, the people that played Yorm like did not even realize that it had been added.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
I
And
felt like
that's
I could
the
see
winning
better.
case.
It was like, okay, sweet, we're doing good things.
Is this dev or is this?
This is dev.
This is dev.
Am I
So
supposed to be on
just-
PTS?
Too
late, we're on dev.
But can you go to the trees?
We like when they're in dev,
tech
dude,
is
'cause they can
as well.
spoil
So
shit.
trees yeah, so there.
What are you gonna do about it? Go to the god menu.
Just added, which is tree culling tech, which I think will actually be there for every god, but Jormungandr will be affected by it more. Which is you can see those trees and the vegetation specifically culling away, so he's not as frustrated by the kind of the camera angles while you're inside the jungle. So you can see right
Yeah,
there. That
necessary
is something
for
that
Jorm,
would
dude.
not have worked in
Yeah,
Smite 1.
the
And-
tree would have just been in your way.
Yeah.
yeah, and this just came in real hot. So if there's any issues with that, definitely let us know, because this was something that we definitely wanted to play around with, and the team went above and beyond.
Chat says huge. He is huge.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. So then, yeah, for more information on the basic tech stuff and all that stuff, check out that basic
Yeah,
tech panel. that you
sorry
saw.
for the detour there, but I felt
It's
like
okay.
because you
No,
could
that's
see
huge.
it, it was a good thing to talk about.
I didn't have that on
so.
my notes.
We've
as
got
well, so
all
that's
day.
awesome.
We can take our time. There's no rush.
All right, so now we're talking about what Hindu was talking
Yeah,
about.
what is this
which
purple
the
line
passive.
about?
So okay, so one,
Pink.
the
Fuchsia,
hard,
I guess.
the hard
Magenta?
displacement.
Magenta.
Yeah, there you go. The hard
get there.
displacement aspect of his passive of immovable is exactly the same as it was in Smite 1. So if you hover over that,
Yep.
if you get affected by any hard displacement effects, which is listed there as banish, grabs, levitates, and vortex effects, knockbacks being knock-ups as well, and knock straight-ups and all those things, you get hit by the dazed debuff, which
Yep.
is just a 15% slow and a 5% damage increase for 2 seconds. That is just the way it was in Smite 1. But now there's actually, so this is the bigger +1, which is when you hit enemies, get enemy gods with basic attacks and the venomous haze ticks, so there's a little bit of a caveat on that, you'll start applying a debuff stack. You'll see that by that magenta kind of bar goes up. Once that hits max, your next time that you proc that will actually deal a burst of damage to that enemy, either dealing magical damage, which is scales off of your health,
Okay.
or scaling off of your strength if your strength is higher. So
Interesting. So
we
whichever
can-
one's
we can go
higher,
back.
it'll go
Yeah,
to.
so we
Okay.
can see that for a second. But let's yeah, you can
This
base
is
attacks.
building it up.
Yeah, you're building it up, and then one more, and then you see that 79
So,
proc.
so if we just hold it down, you can just keep doing
Yep,
this.
exactly. And then so if you throw your one at them and spit, exactly. You can see that is also ticking with each tick.
Boop.
And
And
it
it'll
doubles
do bonus
damage.
I'm at a place to minions
Pretty
on the
cool.
map, objectives on the
No,
map, or
only
just
enemy
gods?
gods. Only
Okay.
enemy gods. So this is kind of that gimmick that we kind of teased around before, where you do as Jormungandr, you do your whole kit. You use your one, you burst
Yep.
out with the 3, you absorb things, you do the 2, and then you've got your basic attacks, and that feels generally pretty good. But now there's just a little bit more of that gameplay of like, okay, in between that, while you're your basic attack or you're chasing them down with your 1, you want to still, you have this goal of trying to burst those poison stacks and apply even extra damage.
Someone just asked in chat, does it time out? And you can see
Yes.
it does time out
So
after a few seconds.
If you hover over that passive information, I want to
Yeah.
clarify on a few things. So the debuff duration lasts 4 seconds. It's not super long.
Okay.
It's 10 stacks, and then technically the 11th application will be what bursts. But yeah, whichever is higher. So you can see it there. You have actually 2 numbers.
Yep.
I ran into this before with like Sun Wukong. People just wanted more information. You're not doing both things. Whichever one is higher, it's either 5% of your max health or 100% of your strength. So if you start building into strength, and you might even start like Jormungandr as a strength build or a hybrid build, and you'll start seeing like that your health, your base health will still be higher until you buy
so
enough
whichever
strength.
is higher.
And then
So if you're
whichever
building
is
strength
higher,
and health, it'll go for
it'll
whichever one's higher
probably be
overall.
health for quite a while.
It should
to
be,
actually
but
dip
yeah.
into that 100% strength, you're
Okay.
going to really need to go into a strength
some
build.
cool
That is
scaling, dude. I like that.
viable because of the on-hit basic attack
I have a
stuff.
very important question.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is a levitate?
Levitate, I think technically was Cerberus's ulti. I don't know if we used it in many other places, but I just kept it just in case. we
Okay, just in case.
I
we
can
use it
absolutely
somewhere.
use
I was
it
like,
now
I was
for
like,
it.
I know all of these CC types, but what the heck is
Yeah,
a levitate?
I think that was
Dude,
previously.
I
Okay.
straight thought Cerberus
I don't
was
know
just a
if that's
knock-up, I won't
technically
lie.
true anymore,
maybe
so.
Mordred all. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. We can keep
Okay.
going.
Yes.
So we look
Okay,
to the
so
passive?
that's the
Passive?
biggest part about his passive and his +1s. So that's mostly it. The rest of his kit is going to be a lot more similar to before. But
And
yeah,
I would say that like during the dev process, we experimented with a lot more +1s, but they felt like they were just like adding stuff to add stuff.
Yeah,
kind of.
we wanted to be careful there.
Yeah.
And even with the basic attack change and the passive change, that's going to be a lot of almost like even just added damage and added just components to that we want to be careful of. So, okay, so AO1, his first ability, Venomous Haze. Two things here. One a little bit more important than the other. One is, so you can see it works just the way you saw before. He's got the timer indicator. It lasts 20 seconds, and it kind of has, anytime you interact with it with your 2 or your 3, it'll go to that base 8 seconds, just like in Smite 1. But there's one new component, or 2 new components. One, which is, while you are within the Venomous Haze itself, so if you just chill inside of it, like if you as Jormungandr are inside of the Venomous Haze, that cooling effect that used to be there for the attack speed conversion is actually going to be here now instead. So if you use your basic attacks, and then so you can actually see it's almost like fighting itself, and if you let go, exactly, you just speed up the cooling even faster. So that cooling effect does still exist.
You're like
it's
fight
while
inside your
lingering
pools.
within his AO1.
Yeah. So stand in your pools, and you can attack a lot.
Longer,
exactly.
faster. Yeah, forever. Not forever, but close enough.
The other thing is,
Do they stack on top of themselves?
no, I don't think these ones do, but that'll
Oh, they
be
do.
later.
They definitely do.
Okay.
I was going down way slower.
The other thing that's there that this was mentioned by the ambassadors, like Jormungandr's got all this poison stuff going on. It just kind of makes sense that the toxicity is probably going to be implying that healing reduction, anti-heal effect. So we
So it's an anti-heal
expanded upon that with some gods, but the AO1 debuff will also be applying healing reduction.
Makes sense to be an anti-heal ability. Yeah.
And that's the same as every god, and those don't stack with each other,
Exactly,
right? It's just
correct.
if you are hit with
typical
anti-heal from a god that has anti-heal, you are at 25%.
All right, 2 and 3 much more simple. I mean, honestly, like I said, the rest of his kit much more simple and inline. His 2 does exactly what it used to do. You suck up the energy from nearby Venomous Haze pools, and it expands the ring of your 2. Oh, they added some extra effects there. That's cool.
Yeah.
So you do that. It grows up to 3 times, but now the buff here is actually that it used to do less damage based on subsequent damage effects, but now I think past 3. But now if you have more than 3 pools, which is unlikely, you'll actually just be doing the same amount of damage. That bonus damage that's there is technically uncapped, but the scaling is capped at 3.
Just show it on that real quick. 3 sets, and I'll actually have it.
Yeah, and some people are commenting that like the radius looks a little bit different. Part of it is that the camera angle is just a little bit different than Smite 1. This
Yeah, they
Josh
mentioned
talked
this,
about a little bit on
changed the
Monday
camera
show,
a
but
bit.
like there was no great way to, even if we wanted to bring over the camera angle exactly the same as it was from Smite 1. So we took a new stab at it and came up with what we thought was the best possible camera angle for Jorm in Smite 2.
Yep.
So it's because of that ability looks a little bit bigger just because of the camera angle.
Yeah, we didn't do any massive tweaks to like the animation. Like I would say that his animation should be basically the exact same. The effects were the biggest ones that change for sure. So the main thing on the AO2 is that it grows up to 3 times as normal, but the bonus damage can actually be from as many and does not have subsequent damage reduction.
Just see the size differences. You got more pools now.
Yeah, and you can see as well, just as usual, because I didn't mention it, is that he does have that empowerment effects, which is cool. Actually, I haven't seen that effects before. Which is he'll have his unlimited like overheat rate. So you just do that in the basic attack. 2 seconds per pool. You can see his passive meter is not draining. He's firing at the max.
Lord. Okay.
So in 3 pools, you have
This
infinite
next
basic
thing for the
attacks.
AO3,
Dude, that's kind of
the
nuts.
hasn't changed as well. Submerge.
Jungle Jorm clear speed, by the way.
Ooh, yeah, Jungle Jorm clear speed does feel good, especially with Boombas as well. Like we actually found a bug with Boombas, but that's a separate issue that we then went to fix. Yes, so
Yeah, you don't want
Submerge,
Boombas doing flat
works exactly the way
50
it did before, which
per
is when you go underneath the ground,
That'd be fucking
you're
silly.
stealth, you gain movement speed, and you can refire to knock up enemies. You also have that pulsing kind of sonar effects, which helps you to reveal enemies over walls. You can kind of see that. It does have a range to it, so it's definitely not unlimited range. One new thing about it, though, is that we actually gave it the Loki stealth like flicker reveal, so that Jormungandr, if you hit Jormungandr, he will no longer reveal himself instantly and lose that sonar effect. He'll actually just do the pulsing reveal. It's it'll be definitely more obvious like when gods hit you. So he will be a little bit more of a stealthy snake than ever before.
Okay.
And
still
then
the same interactions with the
same
one as
interactions
usual?
with the 3. He splits those out. They form 2 new pools.
Yeah, if you've never played Jorm before, the general flow while laning is 1, 3, 2. You know, you make a pool, you expand the pool, you get a big 2 out of it.
But
Yeah,
just
Jorm's
to reveal
3 will still
characters,
reveal stealth characters.
and also over walls, you can see and just gain some vision there in the mid lane.
So 2 Yorms, like, in their 3s together, will just keep revealing each other.
Can he crit? Someone asked already.
Yes, he can crit, but it'll be
Okay.
for that reduced like
Reduced
strength
amount of the basic attacks, as we said there.
Yes.
Okay.
And then is the alt all we have left?
The ult is all we have left, I think. And then a little bit. Well,
And then we have
the
other
ult and
stuff.
one or
But I
two
mean,
more
from the
things.
kit,
Yeah,
kit at least.
kind of. I wanted to
Okay.
clarify one more thing, but yeah, onto the ult, there's a whole bunch of tweaks, and kind of like Kilgoon and Josh were saying earlier, is that the camera system is entirely new, and we wanted to make sure that it was. We wanted to make sure that that it felt as similar to Smite 1 as possible, or even better in certain cases. But gameplay-wise, it's mostly the same. The biggest changes. So if you want to go ahead and use it,
Sure.
you'll see that the rectangle crash component is larger than it was before. We kind of wanted, yeah, there
Oh,
is a
missing
couple bugs.
textures.
One of them is that Yorm's untextured right now. Sometimes it's salty. So
It's fine.
That,
It's
that's
fine.
what we
It's
found
still
out
No
today.
issue.
It actually just cropped up today, so that's kind of surprising. But yeah, there's a whole new thing. You just wanted Yorm's ulti is not the easiest thing to use, but 2 things we'll see here immediately, other than the untextured component, which we're not keeping no, is that the rectangle is larger. It doesn't do any more damage than it did. Also, it's much more well defined. So shout out to Arthur for a lot of the effects. You can just see it a lot better.
Yeah.
But the other thing that Hindu was doing a little bit there, kind of not on purpose, which is the min range has changed, so you can actually cast it, like you can overlap the initial starting radius. So that will make it a lot easier to use on enemies that are trying to just juke underneath you.
Yeah, that's kind of big,
way,
actually.
way harder, way easier to finally get that. It's not super easy, but it's gonna be way easier. That being said, and I want to give the caveat that one of the reasons why we had the min range in Smite 1 was because it looks a little bit goofy at this range. Like when you're underneath it, and if you're just doing it at the minimum, like if you try and get like kind of parallel to the ground or whatever it is, like it looks a little bit janky, but it's not too bad. Like we're just like, this is gonna just still be a quality of life increase. But yes, it does look a tiny bit janky with the tiny little loop and then that crash down. So yeah, there'll still be that. And then finally, the last tiny +1 on the ulti was that we shortened the time between attacks, so between these leaps, by 0.1 seconds. So not very long. But,
0.1.
theoretically, over 3 leaps, that's 0.3 seconds.
I'll do it
And it
fast.
just feels just a little bit cleaner to use. That was done purposely. So it's a buff, but it's very much was meant to be a quality of life.
Okay.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Earlier this
Aspect
week
time?
in playtest, the crash down was dealing damage to allies.
Yeah, that was.
It was a bug.
Really?
And
That's a feature.
I had gotten away from a fight.
And you got hit by your own
Got
Yorm?
hit by my own
It was very funny.
Yorm crash down. I was like, what the hell? I died to my own Yorm? And I was like, is this a +1 I didn't know about or something? A -1?
-1, yeah.
Still got some good distance.
Last week it was also hitting towers. Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's everything to do with the kit, right? It's the Yorm we know and love from Smite 1 with a lot of small tweaks throughout the kit to make him feel a lot cleaner, a little bit more easy to use, as well as the main gameplay changes being on his basic attacks and the passive.
Does Yorm reveal gods in bushes?
I think so. I need to double check.
I
but,
can try
mean,
out a
is he
bot
in
and
bush?
see
Yeah,
if
you can
that'll
spawn a
work
bot
real
inside of a bush.
quick.
Does-
remember how to do this?
I should do the basic reveal plus stealth. So let's.
You in there? Did I even put him in the bush? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's surprising.
Okay, he's in the bush now.
Or you're
No,
in the
it's
bush
not
though.
working. No.
Oh, bots just don't care. Actually, okay. So we'll have
Bots
to test
never
that
care.
separately.
However, I expect it will.
Oh, can you actually, it won't be there until Gold Fury is killed. I actually haven't tested. Can you go ahead and kill Gold Fury?
Sure.
I actually haven't seen this myself.
Still kill
so
a
I'm
Gold
learning
Fury.
this live.
What's the there's a command
With no
we use,
items.
right?
I guess he's level 20.
Tower killer. Yeah.
Listen, the commands I don't know nothing about.
Yeah, and you can also
They
try
wouldn't
Tower
give me
Killer
them in
off
live
its
for safety chat. I understand why.
So yeah, Tower Killer, Space 1.
Tower Killer.
Tower
Space
Killer,
One.
all one word.
Yep.
Space 1.
We're gonna see it all. Space 1.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
So
3K.
Yo, Yorm's 3k damage basic attacks. He's so OP, dude. Thumbnail right there.
We've got an
Thumbnail
update
right
for
there.
what happens here. You
Let's
get
go.
mobility
okay.
as a Jormungandr.
Yes. So
It's supposed to
it
be-
does.
you're gonna get a
It
movement
is there.
speed
There we go.
buff.
Cool.
Is
So
what's
shout
gonna
outs to
happen.
Madzeneski. We on the
Yeah.
last Titan Talk when we discussed this, there was a lot of people going like, because I mentioned that wind sprites aren't going to allow him to get knocked back, and it gets hit by his passive, and he dazes himself. I went back to the desk and I was like,
That's pretty funny.
I was like, I think that's funny. I think you're willingly doing a button to hurt yourself, but there are a lot of people who are like, let's not hurt our friends. It should still provide
Makes
a buff.
sense,
So
makes sense.
Jormungandr specifically, if Jormungandr uses a wind sprite,
Holy damn.
Jormungandr will instead get a very short duration movement speed buff. So to kind of help that a little bit.
Just to help him out in that regard.
Agility relic should just work. You just do a dash. Yeah, it's not a
And
swing or a leap.
Is Agility Relic give him the melee passive, the ranged passive? I guess neither
He's
of them?
technically a melee, so he would theoretically he would have the melee passive.
Okay.
Just go in the shop for a second.
Dude, imagine the old melee passive on Agility with your
Oh yeah, I just did a little.
Yeah, you do
dashing
a
to
little
people every
hop
0.3
forward.
seconds.
It's kind of cute.
Just a tiny little sneaky hop.
Slide. to
His
the left.
range auto attack penalty. You didn't tell me that before, Blair. Blair's been helping a lot, but so I'm very thankful. Send me a note. I shouldn't have a range. Okay, so last thing that I wanted to mention
Yeah.
is
Aspect.
that Yorm does have hybrid scaling. So we talked about his basic attacks. He's got the in-hand 40% difference, and he's got that attack speed conversion. Both of those things are definitely going to matter, and the fact that his in-hand items will proc at the 40% amount. But also his 2, his 3, and his 4 all have some level of strength scaling to it. The main caveat being the 2's bonus damage does not have strength scaling, it only has int scaling, but the bellow itself does, and the 3 submerge damage and the 4 all components of it have strength scaling. So if you
Okay.
do want strength scaling, strength builds are possible and are viable. And
It would make sense because then the passive has strength.
exactly,
involved.
and the passive has that strength kind of
basically.
switch.
These crazy numbers are because of Tower Killer chat, right?
Oh,
Obviously,
yeah, that's
obviously
No,
we're
these are
dealing
normal.
9,000 damage.
These are
with an ability.
normal.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
You can
Actually
tower
deal
killer space
9,000
to turn off
damage.
as well.
And
Yeah,
so- you go.
Sunbeam Bow does work.
Sunbeam Bow, Braggies, all those effects do work. I think Sunbeam Bow is probably the most ridiculous one.
Okay.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
That being said, let us know. We have that valve, that like new valve of the item proc being at 40%. We can change it down to 30, 10, whatever we find to be balanced. We have tried a few on-hit item builds. Funnily enough, hybrid scaling is probably like hybrid tanky strength might end up being more viable, because while you can get to some ridiculous numbers, and if you get on top of someone, it does do a lot of damage with these on-hit builds. So yeah, if you want to go ahead and show it off, we totally can.
What do you want to do?
No, just go
I saw
like
the Hexstone one, but I'll. Go
Oh
on.
no, you can Hexstone. Go like Sunbeam Bow,
Sunbeam.
Odie Bow.
Okay.
You can definitely do all of those things, and you can do a lot of
Odie.
damage.
Oh my gosh.
But
Tell me
the main
about
thing that Yorm kind of struggles with, even with this item build, so the main caveat is that like you're in this melee mid range kind of you're trying to melee mid range, and it's not that easy to do that. So if a mage or a hunter kind of plays at the medium to long range, it's really easy to.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Okay.
That's pretty funny,
That looks
dude.
really cool.
So I think I'm very curious to see how strong it's actually going to be in practice. It will feel strong. It will feel good. I think there are going to be viable builds, maybe overpowered builds. But yeah, let us know what it feels like. I think it's more fun to see it be viable than for it to just not even exist.
Yeah, for sure, dude. For sure. They can nerf it if they need to.
Is there?
Oh.
Can we? People have been asking, what does the action cam
Yeah.
look like?
Okay.
Can-
So
sorry.
so
Am I?
No, that's
Action
the next
cam.
thing.
Oh,
That's
that's
literally
funny.
on the
That's
next thing on
funny.
my list. So yeah, you can go ahead and change to action camera. 1 or 2 technically have the same viewport. So
Yeah, they made a custom
games
action
or
cam for
visuals,
him.
Gameplay.
Gameplay.
Yeah, camera mode top at the very top. You're already there.
I see it. Okay.
Yep. You can change the action cam. So he's got his own custom action cam.
Oh
where
my
he's a little bit
God.
to the over the shoulder, to the left a little bit, like you'd expect.
Dude, that is fucking
Nothing too
horrendous.
crazy there. But Hindu, do you have the other thing?
I
Yes.
do, but I'll have to switch back
Okay.
to it if that makes sense.
Yeah.
When we come out to look at the masteries and stuff, I'll
Okay.
showcase that.
We
real
do
quick.
have.
Can the action cam 2
let's
basic
come back
attack
to
be?
the
Yeah,
other
that's my
point,
question.
because we did a play around with another action
Probably
camera
not.
view, but it was not going to work out.
Yeah, we'll show you what action cam would have looked like if we didn't do some additional work to this.
Well, it's
Right?
it definitely wasn't default like that.
Hold up. I'll bring us back to cams real quick.
Oh, yeah,
I'll
you wanna
just
show it
pull
off
up
immediately?
real quick.
Okay,
Yeah, I
cool.
can just do it now while we've got a second. Just got a few things, but here's a little look at on your screen
Yeah.
how Jormungandr
Oh my
looked
god.
through
So,
action.
I mean,
terrifying.
people talked about like what if you can fire from his mouth and stuff, but the problem is
It's like
like
playing through his
First
nose.
person.
yeah,
Smite.
it's not quite the same. So I gave everyone like I took this because I wanted to make sure that people had an idea of what it could look like, and yeah, maybe we'll have an action camera 3 one day, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna fly.
Yeah, and I will say, remember that for action cam, like main cam, you'll be able to see outlines of gods that are like kind of in that close range to you.
In this situation
yeah.
here, like you can see on my
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah.
So I think it makes, even though it's a little bit weird, right? I think it is much more workable.
All right, sweet. Do we want to go?
So
to
what's next up? Masteries or aspect?
Aspects?
Aspect. How do I need to come out and go back and I'm guessing for
No,
this?
Aspect
you can actually
time.
command for it if you want.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it
Let's
says
switch
more
back
like
to
a
normal cam
supportive
now.
aspect.
Normal cam
You are
enjoyers.
right. For normal cam enjoyers, that's me.
Gameplay?
I'm never going to find this because I've never had to. Okay, classic. There we go. Back to normal, I feel.
Yeah.
What's the aspect command?
So test talent, one
Test,
word,
talent,
space Jormungandr, and you'll start seeing.
space, yawn.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
yep,
on.
There we go.
What's
So
it do?
if you
Hover that.
yeah, if you
icon.
hover over the
Okay,
icon
okay,
by its
okay.
thing, you'll see the full thing. So this is the aspect of the unyielding. The idea here is that it would flex Jormungandr to be more of the
Oh.
supportive side of a guardian rather than the bruiser.
Damage
side of a
reduction in the
guardian.
pulse for your allies.
It does a few things. One being that the poison clouds will no longer deal any tick damage.
Okay.
But instead, if you or your allies stand within them, kind of like you can for that the cooling, which I'll come back to in a second, they instead get a damage reduction basing off of your scaling with your percentage health from items only.
Okay.
So now, if you're an ally of Yorm, it is one other thing to remember, but it is kind of like the Cupid aspect
I
in a
can
way.
buff allies
But
with hidden
yes, you will
strength.
be able to gain a lot more defenses by being inside of the Venomous Haze poison clouds. Well, technically, any
Including
poison
for
clouds.
Yorm too, which you can see
Including
that,
for
I
Yorm
guess,
too,
with
so you can see
these.
that. Decreased
Yeah,
damage
decreased
taken.
damage taken.
So then
Okay.
the other thing there, which is the other bullet points, is that you no longer gain the basic attack cooling, but instead, while within those clouds, which is that second bullet point there, or the first one, but instead your Venomous Haze gets much faster cooldown reduction. So
Okay.
if you slash cooldowns, or sorry, not slash, but CMD, yeah, use a prompt for cooldowns.
Cooldowns? Okay. Cooldowns, you said, yeah?
Yep.
Just cooldowns?
Yep.
Okay.
And spit your one out. Cooldown. Now go inside of it.
Okay.
It is much
Oh,
faster.
wow. That is
And then you can fire another one, and then you can put them underneath yourself, and those ones do overlap. So if you're inside these and you want to throw another one, and you're
Damn, that's
creating
fast.
more pools, and this will overlap.
Oh my
even more.
god.
And
Did he go
remember,
infinite?
You're not doing any tick damage, but you are spitting a lot more.
You can go
And
infinite,
you're
man.
creating
What the
more
fuck?
defensive positions. But there's a world where I think it is possible to kind of maybe go arranged like
That's a bit
infinite
silly.
with your. So between your defensive builds, between your strength on hit builds, between your bruiser builds,
And I can
you also
keep scaling the
potentially
damage of
have
your
an
two
inch
per
build.
pool
But
now.
like I said, the idea still here is more so for the
Yeah, like
defensive.
10 pulls and just 2 someone
And,
they done.
does do the support do the damage mitigation stack, or is that does
The
not
damage
stack?
mitigation does not stack.
Okay.
So
Oh,
It's
thank
just a
God,
cooldown
dude.
reduction to spit again.
That's stacked as Jova,
So
dude.
there's the idea there is still more so that you're poking a lot more because you're losing a lot of the damage tick on minions.
Yeah.
But you're able to kind of put this like defensively for your allies and then start kind of spitting and kind of creating more zones.
Make
for
it more
Do
zones.
they slow still? Did you say
They
that?
still slow. So yeah,
Okay.
the only thing that's
Okay.
being removed is the damage tick. So not the actual on-hit damage as well. And then finally, the second ability, consuming
Bellows?
Bellow, no longer does any of the bonus damage from consuming the Venom's Haze pools, but instead provides all of the allies. and
Okay,
yourself,
no bonus damage.
extra inted strength.
There you go.
I wonder if that scales per pull,
Bonus
though.
strength in it whenever you
Yes.
use that. Okay.
If that
So it's
scales
definitely
per
more
pull,
of a-
did you give your
not
whole
really
team
as
like
much damage.
400
Yorm
intelligence?
Still provides some.
But yeah, there you go. That is Jormungandr. A bit of a longer showcase than normal for this kind of thing, but there was a lot to talk about, I guess. You know, he's got a lot of different things as he comes over, a bunch of +1s, the aspect as well. Changes where he can proc items, hybrid scaling, bunch of different stuff. So honestly, it looks pretty cool, man. I think he's got some pretty cool changes. Maybe I'll be playing him a little bit. I wasn't really the biggest fan of him in Smite 1. I played him like a tiny bit, but I found with a lot of gods as they make the move over to Smite 2, I'm kind of enjoying them more than I was in Smite 1. So yeah, maybe he'll tickle my fancy on his release with non-aspect Yorm and solo or aspect Yorm and support. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. Does Yorm look cool? Are you a Yorm main? Are you a Yorm hater? Let me know down below, and I'll catch you guys for another one later on. Have a great day, and peace out, you nerds.